Yo, what is good everybody? It's your boy Tej, and in this video I'm gonna be showing y'all how to make a sample and beat for Future and Nardo Wick. The sample is gonna be one of those dark and unique type of samples, something similar to what Southside, ATL Jacob, or some of those other producers might use. I made this beat from scratch, so I'm going to be showing y'all my whole process of making the sample and adding drums to it. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy these types of tutorials, be sure to hit subscribe and be sure to follow me on Instagram to get the latest on these videos and anything else I'm working on. As always, I'll have the finished beat played at the end of the video, so be sure to stick around for that. And with all that out of the way, let's just hop right into the beat. I'm gonna show you a quick preview of the finished sample before I break anything down. So it might be kind of off-putting to see the number of stems that there are for this loop, but each of the melodic elements aren't too intricate within themselves. It's just a whole bunch of layers put together. So for this sample, I put the tempo to 158 beats per minute. I'd say anything between like 150 and 170 would be pretty ideal for this type of sample. So jumping into my first sound, I'm pulling up a VST. I've started to use it a little more recently, which is X-Band 2. So the preset that I got was this Baby Cries preset from the polysynth section. So I went into the MIDI and I started by putting this pattern in F sharp minor. For the most part, I was only really using like these 4 notes in the scale. If we're looking at the F sharp minor scale, it's just the root note or the first note, F sharp, the second, third, fourth, and fifth notes. I'm gonna show y'all what this sounds like before I put effects on it. This is what it sounds like after I've put effects on it. So for the effects, the first thing I put in was this EQ. I was cutting out the lows, a little bit of the harshness in this high or treble frequencies, and then taking out some of the mids. And then I put some RC20 on the sad piano preset and turned off the noise. Then I opened up an instance of Portal. I went to the Samurai preset within DB's distro Portal Bank and then rounded it out with some default halftime. For my next sound, I opened up a new instance of X-Band and I went to DB's distro X-Band Bank and I got this mystical pad preset. You don't necessarily need this one specifically. You can just use another pad preset. I started by constructing this pad pattern right here. For the second half of the pattern, it's just the same thing, but octave down. By itself, it sounds something like this. And for this pattern, I'm primarily just using the F sharp minor triad and just switching up some of the notes. So the normal F sharp minor triad is just these 3 notes right here, F sharp, A, and C sharp, or the first, third, and fifth notes in the key of F sharp minor. The only 2 significant changes I have throughout the pattern is just I dropped this A down to G sharp, or the second note in the scale, making this a sustained 2 chord. And then I also moved this C sharp note up to D. Taking music theory aside, all you have to do is just take this first note, clone it up by 3 half steps, and then clone that second note up by another 4. You can make the voicings of it sound a little different by just dropping the second note down 1 half step and moving the top note up by 1 half step, and just using different combinations of that. That's how I came up with this pattern. So combining this with our first melody element, we have something that sounds like this. So for my next melody sound, I opened up Keyscape and I got this grand piano preset. Honestly, you don't really need Keyscape or anything too fancy. You could just use any grand piano that you have. Using this, I put in some really simple bass notes. And then I opened up another instance of Omnisphere and I got this women's choir preset. So using the root notes of the piano pattern I showed you, I constructed my choir pattern, and all the notes are really short because I didn't want the choir to just take up a whole bunch of the mix. And when I originally thought of the idea, that's how I envisioned what the choir sample would sound like. So putting it together with our other stems, it sounds like this. So to make the choir sound a little more realistic, what I did is I went into each of the chords or intervals of these notes here, and I manually adjusted the height of them. Once I had done that, I hit Alt-R on my keyboard to open up this randomizer menu. I think default, it has the pattern on. You want to turn that off and just have the levels on and just adjust this velocity knob here. For effects on the choir, I put on this EQ to cut out some of the harshness in the vocals and put on some reverb to widen the sound a little bit. And then I opened up this tubular bell from my introspection drum kit. By the way, it's free, go cop it. I had them hit on the same notes at the same time as the piano from a couple patterns ago. For my last melody sound, I opened up Omnisphere and I put in this Growler Moog bass preset, and I put in my bass pattern. And similar to the bell in the last pattern, my sub bass also closely resembles what I had in the piano pattern. So once I had all the patterns complete, I rendered each of the stems out as audio clips. I arranged the loop to my liking and rendered it out. So I took the rendered out loop and I opened it in a new project file, and I originally started putting drums on it to my original arranged loop, but then I got kind of bored of it. So I just took the stems and arranged them instead. When I added the drums, I kept the tempo the same, so it's still at 158 beats per minute. The only change that I had is I opened up the audio clip window here and I went to the pitch and pitched it down by 300 cents. So starting off with the drums, I got this clap and I layered it with this snare sound, and both of those hit on the third beat of every measure. Next, I put in my hi-hat pattern and I pulled in a MIDI. I don't remember where I got it from, but I just pulled it in and I changed up some of the notes and the velocities. And then next I added my snare sound. I have my snares hitting on these notes here and just have a couple of these simple rolls. And then next I added my open hats, and these were mostly just meant to hit with the 808. And then lastly, I put in my 808 pattern. I didn't put any special rolls in or anything. I pretty much just followed the root note of the pattern and just put in a few notes to change it up and make it sound a little more interesting. So that's going to do it for me. Hope you all enjoyed the video, found it helpful, and were able to take something away from it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see me do next in the comments below, and feedback is always welcome. And that's going to do it for me. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.